A visitor. Oh boy. Coming. Oh, long time no see. Do come in, do come in. Just mind the euphonium. Come in. What's that? Oh, no worries. You are not barging in at all. I wasn't doing anything. Oh, I do love having a guest. It's been so long. Oh, come, have a seat. Oh, it's so nice to have you back in the same house as all the other most of the other paintings. Good to see you. Glad you could stop by. Could I offer you a drink? Well, I'll get one of your own. Let's see. I guess you don't like wine. Let me see. I might have a few things that a painting would enjoy. Let me see here. Well, number 8, I don't have much, but we do have some PVA and some nice Gamvar glass. The Gamvar glass? Okay, let me get you a glass. What's that? Oh, the restroom is straight back and to your right. I do hope you're doing all right. You do seem to be having some sort of stomach problem. I did bring you your Gamvar glass, so here you go. And I brought the bottle in case you want the top off. So, what's the deal? I mean, you don't look too good after. Oh, mineral spirits. Yes, they go straight through me too. You were having quite the morning. Getting started early. Well, so how is life in a new house with a dog? Like a real dog. Not that you're not a real dog. Oh. Oh, dogs sure are silly creatures. I can't believe she stared at you for 2 full months before figuring out that you are also a dog and barking like crazy. Oh, dogs. Oh, that's so fun. So, what brings you here today? Oh, they're redoing the floors. I know you have an allergy to any dust in the air. Well. Oh, what new with me? Well. Oh, yes. Well, you hadn't met the penguin yet, had you? And, well, there's an even newer large canvas that you haven't met, but, unfortunately, that one is in a gallery in Oklahoma City, so I'm sorry, but you won't get to meet this time. But if you stop by again in a few months, it'll be home again. You can chat. But, well, what else is new with me, though? Oh, well, I did finally get around to making my book. And I'm just so excited, but let me show you. No, they printed it upside down.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Hey everyone, this is Brittany Benson with Don't Eat the Art, and today we're going to learn how to make a book. Or at least I'm going to show you how to do that. Anyway, so we're just going to do this standard little paperback sort of thing like this. To just show you, make sure you clearly see what we're doing, I have different colors of paper for each page, and we have some cardstock that'll be our cover. So first of all, you can see our cover is not the same size as the paper. And even if it was, if you wanted it to be a different size, this is something you could do. So we have orange page, we have purple, we have blue, red, and then a green and yellow. Now this is where if you printed it out, like if you're gonna do where you illustrate it and then scan those illustrations and go to get it printed or something, this is where things get tricky, because you're gonna have to make a mock-up, which is what I did here for this book that I made. And I have front cover, which is obvious, but then I did this 1A, 1B, because I needed it double-sided color, and 1A was of course the first side of the page, and then 1B had to be the back, because if it got printed wrong at all, it wasn't going to line up. So it's kind of hard to see, but this is like 5 pages that are solid like this, and then they've been folded hamburger style, and then assembled with a stapler. So that's what we're going to do here, but I needed to show this because whenever you're laying it out in the computer, it's not going to be page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's going to be weird mixes, so you have to have a little mock-up if you're not really positive what you're doing. I mean, I was referencing it the whole time I was making that, because it was just tricky to see page 2 opposite page 17 or whatever. Anyway, so first you want to fold your paper. Now you're probably going to, there's actually a nice paper roller that's basically a little roller on a stick that you can use, and that's how the shop that printed my stuff had one. I folded all my good stuff there. But you can also do it at home by, I have a paperweight here, just something heavy and smooth, and just, make sure your edges are lined up, and then you fold it. So here we're doing, wait a minute, kiddo.
I just want to
Oh, okay. And then again, you want to be sure you're holding it like this, and then chook, and then one direction, and then the other direction. And we'll go ahead and assemble it as we do it. Obviously, we don't care what order is on this.
I'm making a book.
Yep. Now see how this should show. So when it was printed, we'd have to have side A, side B, and same thing for this one. Then you put them on top of each other. Because see, then, this may say page 1 page 2 and page 6. I don't know. We'll figure this out. So when you just look at the paper on its own, it's not going to be in order. And then you stick your other page here, and then say maybe it's page 1, page 2, page 3, page 4, page 5. The one that's on the inside is going to actually be the corresponding pages, since that's where it'll fold.
That is a pink.
But all the others will be different.
kind.
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be red and it just faded to pink, because construction paper fades so easily.
What is that fish called that's in there?
Oh, it's not a fish, it's a face. Paperweight that some glass artist in town made.
What pen is it?
I don't know, it's just one that the artist made up, I think. And then we're gonna fold our...
Not a gray kind.
Well, it's blue.
Blue. Oh.
But it is really faded and looks kind of gray. Alright, sure we've got them all lined up correctly. Yeah, we've got our little rainbow thing. And then that's the cover, so we'll fold it now.
What about that one? The white.
Yeah, that's what's going to be the cover. So we're going to go ahead and fold it. Okay, now for assembly. So you see we're getting them all lined up. Make sure you have all your pages where, you know, you don't have one that you accidentally put in. You know, you didn't accidentally put one in like that. Because when you staple it, that's not going to be. It's not going to be right. So
that's going to be
get
rainbow rain.
This a bit. We have this long reach stapler. This thing is great. It cost me like $26. If you don't want to go spend $26 on a stapler, or you know, just don't have access to one, regular staplers, most of them will also work, because a lot of them you can just kind of open up at the middle and then you can staple down like that. You just have to be sure you don't have like your nice table or something underneath it and get the staples scraping it or whatever. But I went ahead because I'm going to do a lot of this stuff, and so I went ahead and went out and bought one. And what you do is you make sure everything's
stapler on the book.
Yes. And I'm just going to show them something real quick. So see how I was careful to focus. Come on, there. I'm trying to get to focus. Hello, right here. You want to be sure these corners are as lined up as they can be, because you can, especially if you have full color art, it can be, or you know, full, the whole page is covered with art. That's gonna be really poopy if it gets out of alignment. Alright, and I've had a little trouble figuring out exactly where the stapler lines up. But it does have this ruler on it, so it's handy to help me make sure it's straight. And I'll kind of push down a little bit just to kind of see where it's lining up. It's a little crooked. And I always try to look and see where the staple is actually going to come out. I guess it's going to be right about on with this. So
You
give it
very
about a
push
millimeter or so.
harder.
Yeah, we have to push hard to do this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's very tricky.
Yeah, that was right about correct. So, and then you want to make sure it's still lined up, because I was doing one the other day and I did the first staple and then I didn't realize it had shifted some, so when I did my next staple, the pages were kind of out of alignment. So here is, make sure it's straight. There we go.
What time is
I'm getting a little better at this. I don't know, I'd have to look later. And
when we are done filming?
yes, I will look when we are done filming. Okay, so
Fixing my socks.
oh, you like your new socks?
Yeah.
Good.
Don't have
That looks
fluffy.
straight enough. I think I'm a little off there. Whoop. And if you are getting some stuff printed to do this sort of thing, you might want to practice, especially if you're not very familiar with your stapler. I mean, I just bought this a couple of days ago, so I regretted not practicing a little bit, because once you get the feel for it, you'll know about where to put it, but it's still pretty new for me. Alright, so our book is now stapled, it's still kind of wanting to come open, so I'm going to just kind of go over again with my paperweight. That construction paper is really thick. But there's a book, but see, the cover is smaller than the pages. So you can do this with plain old scissors, but I have a real paper cutter. If you do go to someone's house or to an office or something that has one of these and you haven't really used them much before, be extra careful, because I mean, you should always be really careful, but it's a very sharp blade. So be really careful if you want to keep all your fingers. But you just kind of bump that up on the edge here. And I mean, if there's actually words and illustrations already in here, you'll want to be really extra careful with your cutting, or if you're really particular about the size. But
Don't
since this is
cut your hand.
please keep your finger back. I'm not going to. It's not going to matter so much because this is a little blank book. Oh man, this might be a little much for this. Okay, so that didn't do a clean job because I put too many things on it. So what we can do, let's try it this way. Let's see if we can clean that up. All right, poor little blade. Hope it's okay. So this might be something to do. I guess the last one I did, it was instead of construction paper, I was using just regular paper, which is much thinner, and so it wasn't a problem. So let's try this. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so that's maybe about the max this thing can do. This is not something I'm usually trimming, so it might mean it's a little uneven. Oh, please don't touch that. Okay, thank you. There is this little safety hook there to make sure it doesn't flop open or anything. All right, so I'll show you. Whoop. All right, here we go. Here's our little booklet. So there's a nice cover. We've got our title page, and then whatever in page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Not right now.
Not yet.
You can have them after we're done. 8, 9, 10, 11. And see the, yes, so here this is all the red sheet because that's the inside page. And you can see the staples there. And then back to it alternating. And this is just a really good visual to kind of show how, if you would say, if we had put corresponding pages on this, on the orange sheet, that, you know, those are going to end up out of order once you put this together. So there's a little booklet. You could make a little photo album. You could write your own book. You could do a ton of things with. Hey kiddo, here you go. Here.
It's my book.
And now I'm going to move this big boy out of the way. Oh, that's heavy blade. Okay, so you can even have the little confetti pieces there. All right, so I'll show you real quick this one that I am in the process of making. I will eventually do the line work. I'm not going to read it out loud because it's a surprise for someone in here.
A feather.
Oh, that's a funky feather. And so then there I have the cord. And this is one I drew directly in on. So I may...
And I just flapped them to make...
I actually really like how the illustrations came out, so I'll probably need to set up with my... Maybe, I don't know if I'll have to dismantle it to do this, but... Or if I can maybe just... I don't know. I'll figure something out, but I want to copy the illustrations onto regular paper. Because I realized even though I used thicker paper for this, if I want to color it with my markers, it may bleed through. So if I colored this, then, you know, it might bleed through onto this. So I really don't want to do that. So if I color directly on this one, which I probably will, I'll probably do it with colored pencil. Because that won't bleed through, of course. And then whenever I transfer the illustration, then I could use my markers like I'd like, and then I still need to draw the last page. That's one little fun project I'm working on. I'll show you these if you want to get a hardcover. I was at the office supply store the other day, and they had these hardcover blank books. I would have gone crazy with these as a kid. I mean, and it's only $2.50 for this, you know, was it 28 pages? How cool. Yeah, so if you're into that sort of thing, might be a good option. Okay, so years ago, I was sitting at a coffee shop reading a textbook on mites, and I started hearing...
Hey, I depicted some mites.
You did. I started hearing these lines for a book and kind of picturing these little illustrations. So I flipped my notebook to another page so I could jot it down. And so this is like I didn't number it, but that's like 1, 2, you know, in sequence. So I just separated with the line here. It's one way you could sketch out your initial idea. And then I, of course, typed up all the text. Okay, get out your M&Ms. Ew, it's wet. Why is it wet? Were you trying to open it with your teeth? Were you just licking it, hoping it tastes like chocolate?
No.
Then why is it wet? Anyway, so I had a Word document where I typed all of the text, and then I went in, show you this way maybe, and I illustrated everything. So
That might.
his name is Mike the Mite, and then I have him in order here in my book. Well, we will read the book later when we're done filming. Oh yeah, he goes, hello. She really loves the book.
Trying to catch him.
Yeah. So these are all the originals. I did them with, I sketched them in pencil. I mean, obviously you saw the rough sketch, and then I drew it on my sketch pad, and then inked it and colored with my art markers. So that was the most time-consuming step, because I spend many hours. Excuse me. And then let me bring this over here because I'm going to show you some stuff on the computer. Yeah, look at that.
I'm making a park.
You're making a park.
Yeah. So these are 2 rainbow ones.
Yeah?
And don't forget these.
Oh.
This one is going to stay like this.
So these are just those little trimmings from when we made that little colorful demo book. And she is making an entire park with that.
All done.
Oh, wow, that looks great. That's amazing.
Yeah. Oh, we didn't do the calendar.
Oh, yeah, we can do that. Anyway, thanks a lot, guys, for joining us and checking out my new book. Even though it's not officially published, I have a real copy. So join us again next week. Not sure what we'll do,
How about
but
the
it'll be
8
awesome.
and the 9?
Oops, excuse me. Hold on, kid. Okay, so I spent quite a few hours this week getting it all laid out. I already had the illustrations scanned. If you don't own a scanner, you can take it to a print shop or a copy place and they can scan them for you. Now, I have Photoshop. I didn't have enough money to just buy the program directly, so I have the online subscription, which is like $20 a month. And some months I won't use it at all, but then I actually do still use it a lot if I'm editing my prints, my art prints to prep for the printer. I use it for that. I use it for just all kinds of little projects. Anyway, if you don't have Photoshop, there might be a place. So, for example, the print place that did the little booklets for me. They actually have a computer set up with several computers that have Photoshop and stuff in there. And I think if you're not having stuff printed there, I think they'll still let you use them. You just have to pay for the time. But if you're doing a little altering on stuff to have them print there, it might be free access. I don't know. But the point is, you can likely search around and find places that offer, I don't know if maybe public libraries will sometimes have that sort of service or not. Anyway, okay. So we have the poem, which is just, it's not a numbered page, so, and it's right at the beginning, and then we have towards the end of the book, page 17 here, and that was one side of the sheet. Now I wanted it to be printed on 11 by 17 paper, and so I made my canvas size 11 by 17, and then I put these guides, which I didn't know how to do this for a long time, but if you're in Photoshop and you see the little rulers on either edge, if you just click somewhere, so if you want a vertical guide, just click somewhere on the ruler, and then while you're holding down, just drag it over and get it to the marker you want. And so now I have one there. Let me do it. Undo new guide. But I placed one in the middle, so you might have to look at the measurements, make sure you're doing exactly half. And then I did some other guides to have a little bit, like a quarter of an inch all the way around the edge to have some bleed space, as I didn't want to have any of my stuff going past that. And then I made some little guides at the bottom to kind of show roughly where I wanted the page numbers, so that I wasn't getting those too out of place. So here's 0B. And I ended up doing a full spread. This was really pretty tricky to do. I had to have two different versions. That is, wait, is it stapled? Is it all put together? Let me see the edge. I think so. Or bring it here real quick. I can't see from that far. That's okay. Let me see. Yes, that one's yours. So I had to lay it out.
The mic.
Not yet. Not yet. When we're done with this, okay? So I had to have two different versions, because here, let me show you 1A. So 0B and 1A are what ended up being what has that last page. So I had to have two different copies, and but I did it like after I spread them, the full image, and I laid all the text how I want it on that page, and then saved each of those. And then on one of them, I went, so like the one that was 0B, yes, the one that was on 0B, I went and I'd have to select the section I wanted to work on in which layer. So I selected the image, and then I selected on the layer over here, I had whatever layer had the image, I selected it. And then I took my selection tool and selected where it was exactly half. And then I took my eraser, made it really big, and then erased half of that image. Obviously, I guess that was where I did it over here. And then I'd select the text layer here and do the same thing where I selected where I wanted it to erase and then erase that. And then save that as 0B. And then for 1A, I did it the opposite, where I did the same steps, but I, of course, erased this half of the image and then this half of that text. And that way, when it was all assembled, that last spread will line up. So it looks crazy, because this is the dedication that's at the very beginning of the book. Careful, kiddo.
I'm okay.
And then this is page 18, because it was going to be folded like this with, the TP kind of like here, and then inserted into the book. So there is page 16 and 1, because again, it's going to be folded like this and inserted into the book. And
It's my gift thing. Oh!
Yeah, that's page 1's where he's like, hello. And then here's page 2 and 15, because again, they're gonna go folded like that. But see, this is 2A, so this is the first side of the second piece of paper. And then, so 16 and 1 are the pages that comprise the front side of the second sheet.
That's what you're
And then
saying.
2B is pages 2 and 15, which comprise the back side of that second sheet. So, having this physical
I'm trying to make
thing here was very helpful. Okay, because I had the page number here and the 2A, so which sheet of paper and which side. I did learn that if you're going to take this to the printer, you have to convert it first to PDF, or they're going to have to do it there, because even though they have Photoshop, because I was like, oh, it could stay a PSD file because they have Photoshop, their printing software has to have it as a PDF. So I know that now. And then also compressing them is a good idea, because it took a lot of time just for them to load everything, because the files are so huge. And another thing is, unless they have a professional or who's been trained to deal with book layout printing methods, you have to, it would be wise to, I thought having it labeled, 0A, 0B, 1A, 1B was a pretty easy way of lining it up for them, but I guess once they converted it to PDF, it just saved 1 through 13, and so when they printed it, sides were not on the correct, and so I had to stand there and reorder it how it should be, and that took a little while. So maybe go ahead and go with this naming if you like that naming for your own setup, but then when you're ready to have it printed, you yourself go make sure your PDFs are in the correct order, or your PDF pages are in the right order. And then here's the cover, and even though I want this 11 by 17, I wanted to have the color all the way to the edges. So what I did was I made this like 17 and a half and 11 and a half. I'm not sure if I really needed to do that, but I basically left a lot of margin to have plenty of red there. And then I had the cover printed on 12 by 18, or 12 by 18, so that I could then just trim it down. So that's the final, those are the final, oh, and you can add another guide. So I had it half, and then for some of them I drug another guide here to kind of have it in quarters, I suppose, but if you're looking at just one page, half, because I wanted to have the text centered and all that. So those guides are very, very handy. Alright guys, I'm going to carefully staple this. Let's see. Hopefully do okay. So now I keep forgetting this thing actually has a little guide. So I should figure out if I can set the guide, then I'll be good to go. Let's see. Oh boy. It's hard to see the. Oh my gosh. Okay. Should be sure to make sure careful. That's not. She starts grabbing it. Ah! Maddening. On earth. It's getting ridiculous. Okay. Is this straight? No, it's not. Now it is. Is this straight? Okay. all that, and it's actually a little crooked. All right, so here we have a sort of decently stapled, assembled book. And then there's our nice glossy, kind of heavy cover. Open it up, and there's our title page and copyright info. There's the dedication. She was so excited when she sounded out her name and realized her name was in the book. And then we've got the poem. And then page 1. Hello. And 2 and 3. See how these lined up perfectly after we, even though they were kind of hard to think about with the layout during assembly. And 6, 7, 8, 9. With the glossy 80-pound paper. 10 and 11. 12, 13. 14, 15. 16. She loves this page because she really likes that one. 17. Good job. Oh, wow. Yep. You did it so fast. And here's what I'm really proud of is the full spread that we looked at on the computer. So remember how that was a little crazy on the computers. We'd only see half of the image. But see, once that got folded together, we've got this nice full spread. I guess that got a little bit wonky there. I don't know. Obviously need to practice, but that's okay. Picture lined up well enough, which is the main thing. So, yay. And then it's just blank there. And the back just has my Patreon link because it has links to my, I didn't want to crowd too much. And I don't know if this would ever go on an actually published book, but for now, I just put that because it has my YouTube link and my Wix page link. And I've got this nice cover here. So, you can either do something super elaborate like this, or you can, just do a little handheld one, or well, they're all handheld. Or you draw directly onto a little homemade, that's the word I was looking for, book. Like this, and then, go in and color it. It's just, if you do something like this, remember to not use markers in case they bleed through. I was hoping to do that and I used thicker paper with that in mind, but then I remembered, it's probably still going to bleed through, and I really don't want to mess up my illustration. So, that would be really sad. So, anyway, and then you can also just, use any kind of paper you want. Here we've got our rainbow thing, you could just draw that directly. You could give it to your kid and let them make their own book. You could make a photo book, a little photo album sort of thing. And then there's also the option like this. So you can go the involved, slightly more expensive route, although it's not all that much in the grand scheme, or just get some scrap paper at home and a stapler and a pencil and have some fun. So, thanks for joining us. We enjoy having you here at Donate the Art. And join us again next week for something artsy. We will figure something out. How's that sound? Do you have anything to tell them?
So, I have the park, and it looks so cool. And there's also bugs I found, and it's trying to get a little, some squished, and that's what you do. So, join us next time.
Good job.